All right. What's up, Twitch? What's up, YouTube? It's Thursday again, and it's another episode of BrackCast. This is number 71, and today we're just going to talk about woke people and how some woke people should go back to sleep. This was prompted by, I like to watch some, I guess you could say, controversial or at least debatable subjects on YouTube. As you guys know, I've been watching Abba and Preach and reacting to some of their reactions, and even mediocre, I think it was Tutorials and Reviews, MTR, another cool channel where he reacts to some, I guess controversial, debatable subject matter. But the last one I kind of watched was between Abba and Sneeko. It was like, I guess it was a stream debate, or maybe it was Sneeko's podcast. And I'm going to show you guys here. Oh, that is not correct. Oh, that's not good. Okay, so what we're going to do... I gotta change this. It's on this screen for some reason. So what I'll do is I'll just move this over there for now. Forgive me, guys. Yeah, this will look a little bit better. So this there's some of the debates I've been watching. I think it was this red pill one. Oh no, I didn't watch this. This is, I think, the full stream, but it was the Abba versus Nico debate two of two, and the first one was this one. You're asleep in the Matrix. Sneeko versus Abba debate one of two. And what can I say? Hold on, guys. Before I do that, I'm gonna change this so that at least, I think it's this one. There we go. I just feel better that it's there. It's back to where it should be. Okay. Done. Deji will be joining us shortly, and I believe he should be here pretty soon. Anyway, sorry about that. So basically, Sneeko, I have not heard of him before. I know I am a relatively older gen. I know he's super popular. Sneeko official. If you guys are of the younger generation, this is probably not him then. It seems like he should have had way more. It's probably, is it this guy? Yeah, it's this one. So he has 471,000 subscribers, and he does a lot of, like, podcast or interview type content. I feel like he's of the generation that's really into, like, that culture that Fresh and Fit tried to promote, or Andrew Tate is this new guy too that, okay, apparently he's not new, but again, I'm a little bit older, guys, so I'm
Cobra
not
Tate?
down with the times. And Andrew Tate?
Oh man, the Cobra?
Is that him? And then, have you heard of Sneeko?
I haven't heard of Sneeko.
Okay, well, like, he's like, I don't know, young 20s, mid 20s guy, and he was just having a conversation debate with Abba. Are you coming on here? Nice, okay. And oh, maybe you're not coming on here.
Turn on my webcam.
Okay.
Oh,
what's up, man? Nice trolley. I like that trolley.
thanks, man.
Anyway, oh, look at this.
Oh shit, who is that? That's you.
Yo.
Oh shit,
it's us. Okay.
Look at us, man. Look at us.
Yo, I'm excited for this weekend. We're going to Kincardine this weekend.
Man.
It's like our annual thing. I've been looking forward to this like all year, just because I feel like I've had no vacation all year. Coming back out of COVID, man, I've just been working. So
Working your ass off.
I'm kind of just looking forward to not thinking about work for a weekend, because right when I'm back, I have to like get right back into it,
Get back to it.
But anyway, sorry. Back to what I'm talking about, man. Like, so today's subject, as you know, is how some woke people need to go back to sleep. And the only reason why I phrased it that way, because in this debate between Sneeko and Abba, Sneeko's talking about how like the government and like the banks, the higher powers are basically corrupt. They don't give a shit about any of us regular people, and they're setting us up all to fail. Like our education system, our tax system, our workplace, like employment, everything like that is set up basically for us to stay poor and for them to get richer. But he's under the belief that if one hustles, if one pushes themselves, that anyone can essentially hustle and push themselves so that everyone can be rich. I don't know if he actually meant anyone can be rich, but I think he was trying to like sound like he was empowering.
Increase your odds dramatically.
Yeah, but he's saying also like to empower the entire population, that everyone can be rich, and I'm wondering if he means at the same time. Abba is like, I think he's like in his 30s, maybe mid 30s, I'm gonna guess. So he's been around, an extra decade. On top of Sneeko, he's had a little bit more experience about like how, you settle into kind of like who you are as a man, as a person, and you start to like accept some of the things that you are outside of your control, so then you focus on what you do have control over. He's also about like, that he will counter, or he will disagree with what like the younger gen about like, Fresh and Fit and Andrew Tate, how men can like date multiple women and just date as many women as they want, and then it's like they call it new, I don't want to say this in stream, but they call it new pussy, and how and how like the pursuit of that is like the ultimate I don't know, prize, or like ego boost if you continue to just clap, I guess you would use for the word, like throughout life. Anyway, Sneeko was saying,
wait, say that last part again.
Well, basically, like, as long as you keep pushing yourself, this is Sneeko talking, as long as you keep pushing yourself as an individual, like staying on top of that red pill kind of mentality, that you can succeed in life, be rich, be successful, always clap new young pussy, and you would be like, like an alpha for the rest of your life, for your whole life. Abba's saying basically that this whole pursuit of new, I'm just gonna call it P, I don't want to say it, I want to keep saying it in chat, in stream, is it gets old. Like, it's not so much, and Sneeko is saying, nah, isn't it just because you're older, so your testosterone levels decrease, and so you're not as driven to like push yourself, and so you settle. So this is coming from a 23-year-old versus I'm gonna guess, I don't know, 33-year-old having this debate, talking about how you should pursue life. And Sneeko will, I guess, identify as woke. He's trying to tell the whole world, everyone needs to wake up, the government is against us, we need to empower everybody, and we have to take over the government. Alright, sorry. Tony 1117 saying, the left believes in creating a system where there's equality of outcome. The right believes in equality of opportunity. That's a cool way to put it. Equality of outcome. The right believes equality of opportunity.
All of the right?
Which one's liberal again? Is it right?
I don't know, man. The directions, man. Fuck, I just use directions when I'm turning.
Anyway,
I don't know who's who anymore.
So Okay, guys, I'm not gonna click on this link. Deji, I don't know if you want to react to it at the same time. I don't think I want to. Like, I think if you guys would want to watch it at your own time, that's why I have the links up here. The
How
titles.
long is it?
Oh, like yeah, like one's like half an hour, the other one's
Oh, that's
12
yeah.
minutes. The first one was 17 minutes, and then part 2 was like half an hour. Young men are angry and invisible. Anyway, let's go back to the screen. First of all, I guess we'll react to some of the things they were talking about.
Man.
Like, do you think everyone can be rich at the same? Like, can everyone in the world be rich?
Hell no.
Okay, explain. Not can, like, as in, like, ability to, individual ability, but is it possible for everyone in the world, all the population, to have wealth? Like, considerable wealth? And why?
No.
Okay, why?
Because in order for wealth to exist in a society created by human beings, there needs to be someone at the bottom.
Right.
Point blank. Period.
See, this guy
doesn't. And that already it negates all the equality shit you're talking about.
And he's saying like, nah, but if you push yourself and if you're like, you're driven to get that paper, you're still gonna, push your limits in terms of like, your career, clout, whatever it is, exposure to the world. He thinks like because everyone has a phone and everyone has internet, that's what he says too. He says it in his own words, like everybody has a phone, everybody has internet, anyone has the ability to get rich, and so everybody can be rich. Like if you trade stocks or you follow crypto or whatever like that, he was like, into that. I mean, there's an error in that already because no, not everyone has a phone and not everyone has internet, but
Facts.
I guess many do. But many don't take advantage of or take full advantage of that access.
And I'm gonna go a step further and say the people he's talking about are in the first world, maybe second world demographic. Second world demographic is what? Has phones? Wait, is there such a thing as a second world, or is it just first world and third world?
No, there is second. There's definitely like an in between.
I got scared for a second.
Yeah. It's I would say it's some of like maybe like some of like the Middle Eastern countries, or because they have a better infrastructure and like
you need the infrastructure for that stuff. And all you have to do is ask them a couple follow-up questions. Okay, all right, so you get the bag. Okay, what do you do with the bag? You go start your own business. Are you gonna hire someone, or are you gonna run the whole entire business by yourself? Okay, the people you hire, do they have the same opportunity as you, or are you trying to get as much work out of them to make your bottom line more appealable, or are you gonna pay them, as a benevolent boss? Like, come on, you're gonna do the exact same shit.
Okay, so I mean, you nailed it. That I think he failed to understand that too. That for someone to be rich, others have to be poor, because if everyone has the same level of wealth, even if it's like everyone's a millionaire, that just means inflation's ridiculous, and like that's. I think Abba commented it in the video, but like if everyone has the same amount of wealth, that's communism, right?
Yeah.
And essentially, like an ideal communism is almost like the Star Trek world, if you think about it.
Honestly, that's a great point you made, because if everyone had the same amount of wealth, it would basically be like if everyone had the same amount of poverty, because it wouldn't really, I mean, maybe it wouldn't be the exact same thing, but I feel like mentally the way like the society would function and the things that would be priority in the society would be like across the board for everyone.
Yeah.
If everyone was broke, and on the flip side, if everyone was rich, right?
Yeah. Dede's saying here.
Yeah, and what Dede said.
Yeah, if everyone becomes a millionaire, then that just means that the top 1% will be trillionaires. So, again, this is like I was watching it for about an hour, I guess in total, maybe 45 minutes in total, and I was just kind of getting upset. Not upset. I was just getting so annoyed listening to this
20-year-old
young generation woke. He said he claims he's like, people wake up, like the government against you. The government doesn't care. the government doesn't give a shit about you, and they're gonna keep you in the bottom. So we need to like take over. Like these are his words of like encouragement to like, push his followers and his fellow man to like take back control from those who are rich and greedy. But like, I feel like he doesn't actually know how. Yeah, okay, you're gonna say like, you can say all these like inspirational, inspirational like Braveheart type of words, but like, what are you gonna do? Like he's probably he's six figures. Like he's a YouTuber, streamer. He's definitely have a following online. Apparently though, here, I'll share the screen here so that we can all see it at the same time. Here. See, there's one here that says the downward spiral of Sneeko. So I don't know. Apparently he's controversial enough where other people are making videos reacting to him. I mean, that's part of the hustle, like good publicity, bad publicity is part of why he's same with like Fresh and Fit, Andrew Tate, with those people with controversial mindsets and views.
Not gonna lie, I find Andrew Tate funny.
He is okay. So is he funny like because you think it's like, he's being serious, or do you think he's being?
I think it's funny because I feel like he's trolling.
Yeah, it sounds. Actually, there was this one video though where he actually made sense. He said like one sentence that actually made sense. Andrew Tate knows exactly what he's doing. Okay, well, yeah, that's what He used his boxing kind of following to already have his like fan base, and then he's developed it into a something he can.
So he started as a boxer. Was that it?
Apparently, yeah. I googled him really quickly one day. What is definition?
I thought he was like one of these Dan Bilzerian motherfuckers.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. He kind of lives that lifestyle. He says he wakes up like next to like new women all the time, using viral as advantage. Yeah. Tony, what is the definition of woke? Deji, you want to answer that?
What is the definition of woke?
Because there's woke... like actual woke, like the respectable woke, where you have like I believe like most of us, if not all of us in Brack, have a sense of wokeness where we're like we realize, the world isn't all like candies and rainbows and like not everything's perfect and everything's gonna work out for everybody. No, like there's a lot of corruption in the world, and there's ways for us to like to try and I don't know if we can avoid it, but we definitely are aware of it enough to like try to work around it. I don't know if we feel like we have the power to change it. But then there's new woke, red pill woke, or liberal woke. There's a huge difference. Tony, what do you mean? What do you mean? Is red pill woke like the dating scene? Is that what that?
Liberal woke.
Liberal woke is more of like a political sense, but is red pill woke more like of like the social aspect of like dating scene? Is that what you mean?
Well, I would say like for me there's like three. For me, I would say there's 3 tiers of woke. We can get to the red pill and liberal stuff later, but I would say there's 3 tiers. I would say the first one is the one you just mentioned. It's like the general populace that knows that there's insidious shit going on behind the scenes, but they can't, like, a lot of it is like conspiracy theory, but they just know like they're not necessarily being fed the truth by the news, kind of.
So
woke.
just a bit of doubt. Like that's tier 1.
Yeah.
Level 1.
Yeah, that's tier 1.
Okay.
Tier like fake woke, which is the bottom tier, is like this motherfucker that you're talking about. That's like, yo, they're trying to get us. I'm 20, and then and then woke to me is the scientist that handcuffed themselves to Chase Bank because they were trying to draw attention to some shit. He knows something, and I'm scared about what he knows.
Okay, so you mean woke even like whistleblowers and stuff, like.
Yeah, like they
Snowden.
know some shit.
Snowden too. Okay.
So it's like
I can believe I can see that for sure. Like
he knows something that is scary.
If you believe a man can have babies, that's liberal woke. Okay. Okay, I get it now. I get it.
Oh, like this.
It's more like even like gender neutrality maybe, or I see what you mean.
Aha.
What's right-wing woke? Because he said Liberal is leftist progress social issue woke. Okay. Yeah, well, I don't think we're talking about that. Like, okay, maybe we can. I guess you're right. There are different, like, categories of woke, too. It's not just levels, but also categories. Because,
True.
they call, like, the modern woman, which is, like, this super feminist. Or what extreme feminist? Is that what it is? Like, they're considered woke. But then you see these headlines on YouTube, too, of, like, shutting down these woke women, Centrist woke. Men can have babies now. Titties. If you believe lizards run this world, you are Alex Jones woke.
Oh shit. Isn't Alex Jones like in court now or some shit?
Oh, I don't know, dude.
I remember reading something about some popular TV personality that was in court and that was making fun of the judge on his show or some shit. I think that might have been Alex Jones. But anyway, that's funny.
Here's the thing. I think to be woke, you got to be incredibly, like, legitimately woke in any category. You have to be what's the word? Up to date with, like, current news. Like,
yeah, your
social
information's
times,
got to
like,
be like
so in a sense that kind of lowers my tier down to, like, this, like, dumbfounded woke, or, like, maybe, like, sleepwalking, because I am so sick of the news now that I don't even want to consume the news and like be aware of what's going on out there, because I feel like it's just depressing. Like, there's also that other sense of, or that other category of woke where people want to disconnect from the grid, go live off on, like, some private bush, have their own power satellite, make their own farm, make their own crops, have their own bomb shelter and all that stuff. That's a different kind of woke, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think woke and news actually are this, like, I think wokeness has to do more with awareness and news has to do more with just information, right? Because you can just, like, the news can, I was on MSN today, there was like 20 categories of just, like, bullshit. I'm like, bro, I'm not reading all of this. This is too much information.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that goes into the exhaustion that you experience where you're like, I don't want to watch the news ever again. But at the same time, I would still consider you a very aware person, because it's like you assess situations that you're in. You don't just, like, take things at face value. You have a healthy criticism for things. I think these are elements of people that are quote unquote woke, right?
Yeah, well, thank you, first of all. So wait, red pill is conspiracy woke. So Tony's saying I am nearing red pill woke. No, dude, I am red pill woke. The whole zeitgeist thing, like, about, like, 9/11 and even, like, this current Ukraine and Russia war. Yeah, I'm always, like, what they put on mainstream media of, like, what the news is saying. I'm always doubting. I'm always doubting what I see in the news. Yeah. What's up?
Yo, you heard about this WNBA player that got 9 years in Russia?
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
There was a WNBA player by the name of Brittany Griner. She's basically, like, I think on a talent level, I don't know if I'm exaggerating, she'd basically be like a fucking, like, LeBron of the WNBA, right?
I've seen her, yeah.
So, yeah, she got arrested for having a vape pen in her luggage. She got 9 years, bro.
In Russia? Why is she in Russia?
In Russia.
Why is she?
Because she was playing overseas for the Russian, I believe, basketball team or some shit.
How can she be? But how? Like, I thought you're not allowed to have any Americans. Okay, hold on. WNBA star Brittany Griner sentenced to 9 years in Russian jail
for drug smuggling. Jesus Christ.
This was August. This is today. 10:40 p.m. Eastern. Like, that was just an hour ago. Less than an hour ago. Anyway, did you read into it? Again, I don't.
Yeah, it's like this situation was compounded by the whole, like, war shit. Like, just imagine LeBron getting 9 years in Russia. Wouldn't that just be insane?
It's kind of it's kind of reminding me of this time where I think Canada was involved with, like, this, like, executive of, like, some telecommunication company, and we were like, I think it was like something to do with China, right, Dede? It was like, was it Huawei? Something like that. And they were like, it feels like a spy thing where they're gonna exchange one for another. And Tony was saying here now Russia will get a warlord in exchange for her. She got screwed over. Apparently, it was possession of cannabis oil. She was leaving around the time when the war started. Yeah, it was Huawei. Dede said.
It's fucking shitty.
Like all this. Oh god, like, it's like I don't even want to talk about it. Here we are,
right? It's just like, yo, why is this happening?
It's just annoying. Like, there's like no sensibility in people anymore. Like, politics takes over, corporate goals take over, sensibility.
Yeah,
it's
out the window, and it's like an agenda. Everything's an agenda, like an agenda.
And I think I always think it's ultimately, bottom line always is for wealth, because wealth is power. Like, this whole Ukraine-Russia thing, I still think is ultimately for money, like some sort of wealth, whether it be oil or like, it could be our military advantage over something, but still it's gonna bring some sort of wealth. And like, we don't hear about I don't know, guys. I don't watch TV news. I just feed off of what I get off the social media, what I hear from like my chats, my group chats, and no one's talking about the war anymore because it got old. But it's still happening. From what I know, it's still going on. What people are pissed off or not, like what I saw the most, like it was like I think it was Sharon who shared it. It was like how people are pissed off at the federal government in Canada because they're not taking care of nurses. How do you feel about that, dude?
I see it at work, man. Everyone's fucking stressed the fuck out. Everyone's pissed off, yo. It's hard to hire. Like, we haven't hired like any new nurses in a fucking minute, bro.
That's just because no one wants to, right?
Yeah.
So like, would you say like incredibly understaffed, just like everywhere else? Like,
oh yeah, what, bro?
So like,
it's bad.
What's
and it's always been.
It's always been, but it's got to be worse now.
It's worse now. Like we feel it at work.
So what happens? Just longer waits? Like, our waits now from hours have extended to weeks or something like that? You know what I mean?
Well, we haven't had a new resident admission in months, but we've also we're battling outbreak maybe in like June, July, but like we've had no influx of residents. Like, we've had to come up with contingency staffing plans just because we know like it just takes one staff to call in sick for the entire fucking staffing structure to collapse, So
Dede says in the US there's average 6 to 7 patients per nurse. How does that sound compared to you guys?
I mean, hospital, that makes sense. Hospital is like 6 to 7. 5 is a good average, but 6 to 7 is like that's a busy unit.
Yeah.
I work in long-term care, so I don't know. The nurses get
true.
like 15.
Yeah.
So it's a little different.
Group therapy. Politicians are some of the dumbest people around. Anyone with half a brain would stay in private sector. Well, that's the thing. I don't think politicians are necessarily in control. Like, as we all say, as the red pill woke society will say, they're all puppets. Doesn't matter who you have at the helm, whether it be Biden, Obama, or Trump. Those bills are still gonna pass. Those plans are still gonna go through. Like, it doesn't matter who the face of the government is, because whoever has the money and the wealth is actually still dictating.
They're gonna do it.
So, like, there was a time where I was like so pro communism. No, and I still think like I by that idea, dude. Like the ideal communism, like structure.
Oh shit! I don't know why that was funny.
Yeah,
one time I was a communist.
No, I was not. I was never. No,
Oh,
I agree with the fact that, like, because I feel the requirements, the essential requirements for survival in the world are abundant. I'm not saying everyone can live within the same kind of wealth tier of like luxury, but I mean like food wise, shelter, power, you know, protection from the elements, that's abundant now, where I feel like access is available or can be available to anybody as long as someone's willing enough to administer it. Again, this sensibility, like a government that would possibly be sensible enough to just be benevolent to care.
So okay, so that's a good point, right? Because like that doesn't necessarily take away from an individual's ambition of what they can do with it, right? I feel like what you're talking about
Ambition
is
or
having
greed? Because ambition could be
I think
positive.
I think that's on the same spectrum,
Okay.
right? But I think like I don't know what country it was, but apparently it's probably some Scandinavian country. Their tax is like ridiculous, but literally like healthcare, school, medical visits, everything's just fucking paid for across the board, right?
Right.
So I think in a system that has, what's the technical, what's that hierarchy called? Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Oh,
It's
right.
like food, clothing, shelter. Like if a huge chunk of that is just like taken care of. Remember, did you watch Doctor Strange?
Yes.
You
The new
remember
one?
that yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when she was like, your universe is the only universe that pays for food. I thought about that for a second.
Yeah.
It's obvious why we pay for food, but on some level it's like it's kind of abundant. Like why the fuck are we paying for food? Right? So that sort of thinking, I get like there should be certain things that are, I don't know, streamlined, but the ability to like create your own business, you know, equal what's that thing called? What was it, free open market or free market or whatever, or I forget what it's called.
Okay.
But the ability to be able to trade autonomously within like a system where like you can, I don't know, there's like goods and services and exchanges and shit, and like you can, you know, make profits and all that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's called, but yeah, you get what I'm saying.
So Tony's saying Marx points in a utopia that's fooled billions of people. Like, the ideal of Marx, are you saying that like underlying, do you know Karl Marx? Have you heard of Karl Marx?
Yeah.
Like Marxism, I think, is like, like even an extreme version of communism. I just
Free enterprise, sorry, that's what I was talking about, or the free market. Yeah,
the free market. Yeah, I just feel there's been some idealistic ways of portraying communism in the sense that there is no corruption. For ideal communism to be successful, there can't be corruption. But it's like, how can you have humanity without corruption? Because it's almost like it's innate behavior. Like someone's gonna want to take advantage. The strong is gonna take advantage of the weak because they can. I don't know if true benevolence can actually be possible, but like when you look at these movies, like Star Trek, man, just look at Star Trek. You know, where the objectivity, the objective of humanity is to just better itself. Yeah, seek out and better, like, for knowledge and to better even the existence of humanity throughout the universe or whatever.
Yeah.
And they've removed kind of this monetary system. There's still some sort of trading. I think there's like credits involved or whatever like that. But I think like the essential needs of like a house and food and like education are provided. And look at where we are now, where everything like that, for essentially we pay for either through tax or private. And like there's this barrier between our current state of the world now to how we can get to this like more ideal state where people are caring for each other a bit more, not fighting each other as much. To infinity and beyond, Dede says. So like, what am I trying to say? I think the problem is, from like the industrial age to even like the rise of like capitalism and like the corporate kind of powers, is it's built an infrastructure to just nurture capitalism, like this free market you're talking about. So it's like those who push themselves harder, those who innovate better, end up at the top and rule, right? Which is almost like, okay, well, they earned it. It's like a reward. But what happens is then you are taking away opportunity from potential. Like, let's say all these second and third world countries are, they're still having babies, but you have, like, some brilliant genius kids, if they had the right access, could make huge differences to the world, but we'll never know because they don't have access. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is where my heart pulls towards. It's like, it makes sense to me. It's like, give everybody at least the chance to become something, to see if they can become something. Because if there's, like, let's say 1,000 people, there's a lot of lazy motherfuckers out there too, right? Like, there's a lot of people who just don't want to do anything. And there's a lot of jobs out there still that no one wants to do, that essentially technology could idealistically take over. But if we can remove all of those jobs that nobody wants to do, give everyone the essential needs for life to survive in the world, at least, I don't know, 80 years, I don't know, and then you'll get, let's say, probably the vast majority of the population won't be driven. They'll be, like, comfortable.
Yeah.
They'll what's the word? They'll be, I don't know if the word is complacent.
Waste away.
I don't know if they'll waste away, though, but they'll just be, like, they'll be appreciative of what they have. I think. This is me being idealistic again. But then you'll still have those 1 in a million, maybe, one in whatever large number of geniuses like Albert Einstein.
There'll be bums. Look at
There'll be bums.
You're right.
No, like I'm saying, the vast majority aren't gonna have that drive to push themselves. These are the people who are cool with, just, I guess, more like following rather than leading. But you still have a lot of people who refuse to be in that mindset. Like, to a certain degree, we all have this thing that pushes us on our own to still make something of ourselves, even if we're comfortable. Like the pursuit for more. There's still individuals out there who will do that. And it's just, you're gonna give them better access, more. And if we can take, 7 billion people, 6 billion people, and if all of them had access to education and an opportunity to make something of themselves, but only 1% do, still, like, imagine like those, like, 1% of 7 billion people are Albert Einsteins, or maybe, like, I don't know about Steve Jobs, if I want to use that as an example, but, like, maybe an Elon, or maybe like a Bill Gates, but without the corruption and without the greed. I'm actually talking about, like, unless the generation of kids are taught that they are constantly oppressed since birth.
Yeah.
Well,
What's that book? I think I mentioned this on the pod too. The Time Machine. The Time Machine. This book by H.G. Wells. He talks about, like, a future in which humanity's figured it out, but it's actually split into 2 distinct societies now. There's, like, the surface dwellers who are, like, these. They figured out all their problems, all their challenges, so they've actually turned into these, like, spineless, like, blob-like figures, because they don't have to do any work. There's no resistance, so they just fucking, just wither into nothing. And then the working class was, like, shoved underground, and they were made to build all the, like, infrastructure and stuff, and they went pale because they were not exposed to the sun, but they had incredible muscle mass because they were struggling for generations. So I think that something similar would happen, like, regarding the former, if humanity were to just be like, all right, everyone has everything, no one needs to do anything. Then we would just be like, oh shit.
But would you?
I'm just gonna eat.
If you were in that world, would you just stop doing shit?
I think about why I do stuff now, right? And the motivation behind that.
Yeah.
A lot of it is because I want to be able to, like, make enough money to really do the stuff that I really want to do.
Okay.
right? And to be comfortable. But if I was like comfortable already and I had all the means to do anything that I wanted to do, I wouldn't do anything.
Okay.
Like and I think it's the same principle with like procrastination and having like immediate deadlines as opposed to like indefinite deadlines, right? If you have an immediate deadline that's like a week
Yeah.
in advance, it's like, okay, I have to make sure that I get this done before this time, right? You have like a motivation, you have like something on your back, you have like an end goal. If it's just like somewhere off in the future, you don't have to worry about it. You're not gonna do it. It's just gonna be like, I have all the time in the world to do it, so I'm not gonna do it. I feel like that's
okay.
parallel.
One example that came up in my head is Yeezy, Kanye. Right? He had his come up. I watched his documentary too. It was inspiring in a way. It's inspiring. Then he kind of lost his mind. But if you think about the wealth that he's up there. His net worth is ridiculous. Yet he continues. You know he could be as comfortable as he wants, but he continues. You know, I think he's pushing himself way more than, let's say, Puff and, you know, Jay-Z, in terms of like this influence, this global influence that he wants to be. I think maybe Puff and Jay-Z already feel like they've already mastered that through music, and they're cool with that. But somehow he's still trying to touch other facets of like the industry. So
True.
Kanye's
So, I mean,
network is
like,
$2 billion. Oh, I thought it was more than that. But anyway, yeah.
yeah, I mean, and I get that in a sense because, like, you know, he hasn't reached this. But okay, so with him though, and with like a Jay-Z or a Puff, they had a period of struggle too, right? So I feel like that influences them even when they get to that point where like, okay, I've done everything. You know, there's still some, you know, there's still some like level of competition that's like there. Whereas I feel like if Kanye was just born with a 2 billion, can you imagine if Kanye was born with a $2 billion net worth, what he would be like? He'd be a fucking like a horrible human being.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Isn't he already a horrible? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so just imagine like if he just came out like that and he just like had all that ego.
No,
and
but
all
then
that wealth.
I feel like that's part of why he has this drive, because it's something that's been ingrained in him from his come up. But if you already at the top, you don't think complacency is more likely?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, horrible in the sense of complacency, like he won't do anything.
Like he probably wouldn't like have all these like ideas and projects, because I'm thinking about it in the sense that he was probably young, he didn't have the funds, he had all these ideas in his head, and he's like, yo, I gotta make music so I can have money to go into fashion. But if he just like came out the gate with it, it's like, yeah, I got these design ideas here, Mr. Balenciaga, just, you know, fucking do that shit. That's, I don't know, that's how I feel.
Well, it sounds like he has barriers of entry. Like he's been trying to break into, like, let's say, like the fashion industry, and I guess he's jumping obstacles to try and get that. Sorry, just to get some of the chat involved here. He would be broke by the time he dies. How much is Kanye versus his army of people that's feeding him ideas and concepts and stuff? When you get that big, all he needs to do is sign and be the face. See, Tony, I still think he still has a lot of influence in the direction that he wants to go. He can kind of just say what he wants, but yeah, he's got like designers and support that can kind of put his thoughts into like fruition, or like an actual like tangible things. But at least this is, I'm basing it off the Netflix documentary of like how he was portrayed there. It could be very much glorified. Maybe he's like slowing down too. I mean, he's 2 billion. Of course he's gonna be slowing down. He's getting older too. He's not with Kim anymore, and it's like, but like,
how'd you feel about that?
What?
The split from Kim. Did you think?
I think
Pete Davidson was like a good follow-up
for Kim.
Yeah.
I mean, I really didn't put like a careful thought in it in terms of like, do I care about what Kim is gonna do with her relationship? No. I actually look at more of like on the Pete side, because he's the one being criticized, not criticized, but he got like the whole, how is he getting these women like Ariana Grande and like Kim Kardashian? So it's almost like the women are almost being made fun of because he's landing them, but he's kind of being celebrated for getting with them. And I don't want to be part of that. Like this whole gossip thing of like, it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters. Like this, when I look at it in terms of like the aspect of Kanye's life, I kind of think it might be a positive for them to not be together in terms of their goals. Like Kim and the whole Kardashian fam and the whole like whatever family there, Jenners and whatever, yeah, they're very mogul type of like wealth seeking, but the way they achieve it, I don't think is in the same sense of like hard earned work as Kanye experienced coming up. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, for sure.
That's what I'm saying. And
it's not
like,
even close.
And then they got together. It made sense in a social media, you know, like in what the media would expect. With their separate, you know, followings, it made sense for them to combine and be a powerhouse. But when you think about them as individuals, I don't see how that was gonna be something that would have lasted. I don't know. I don't know them personally, but obviously I'm only basing it on what I judge of them as individual, like their character. But it makes sense to me that and I'm kind of like glad. I feel like Kanye now has increased his potential to do more again, but you know, he's kind of mentally unstable. So I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I just found it to always be an interesting case study, that relationship in the end of it.
No, Kanye was not with Ariana, Tony. I was talking about Pete Davidson. Pete Davidson dated Ariana Grande for a bit. I think that was before Kim Kardashian. Anyway, we've had this conversation before about like, if we had access to everything, if everything was abundant, everyone and yeah, I think Data, even you said too that like you wouldn't do anything. And actually, that was what I wanted to ask you, Deji. You were saying if you had already the money where you could already live comfortably, where you could do everything you wanted to do, then you would stop doing things. But what are these things that you're talking about? Like, do you not feel like you would still like try to, I don't know, maybe with that opportunity that you have there, you'd have access to new endeavors, maybe like musically, whether it be professionally?
Yeah, I mean, like in terms of, okay,
what is comfortable? Define that. I'm comfortable right now, but I'm not just gonna chill and make the same amount of money and live the life like this, because I guess I could increase my tier of comfortable. Is that what luxury is? Is luxury just different levels of comfortable?
I guess luxury is comfortable squared.
Okay.
Or something like that. I don't know. But I feel like the struggle and having obstacles that are in your way before you get to something goes a long way in just like your motivation for doing that thing in and of itself, right? I don't know, I just feel like it would be very easy if I had like all access to anything that I needed to just like fuck off.
So you had your own studio. Okay, let's just say you had wealth, right? Like you've been working a long time, you've been saving up, finally all your debts are gone, you have like a big stash of savings, you could buy a house, you could buy a car, you could buy a studio, anything you wanted to do, you could afford. What, you're gonna just travel and like, you know, have parties and drink and like, you know, fuck bitches? Really?
Yeah,
you like
basically.
And you'll feel content with your life like that?
I would probably not feel content, but like every day, and you could say, I mean, I feel like this would be like general across the board. I feel like every day you could hit some level of like, okay, I think with humans, there's like a hedonistic level of like enjoyment where it's just like sensation,
Yeah,
overload,
yeah, yeah.
overload, overload. And then there's a balance where it's just like you're doing a pleasurable activity, right? And I think when you have a system where you're working towards something and you have goals and stuff, the most you'll do is like, a lot of pleasurable activities. But when you just have everything, I feel like it's very easy to just be overdosed all the time because you have no limit. So it's like, why not? Right. And that would seep into your ambition. You probably just wouldn't want to do anything. It wouldn't be the fact that I now had the ability to do anything and I didn't like necessarily want to. It'd be the fact that like I could do anything. So it's like, why not do everything and get nothing done? If that makes sense.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, well, I'm gonna read what Day said. He said he'd be bored out of his mind after a month. Here's a morbid thought. Imagine it's your funeral. Who shows up and what would they say to honor you and memories? For me, I'm grinding to take care of myself, my family, friends, and be extremely generous to strangers to change lives. I mean, that's all very noble and kind of like holistic, which is awesome. Like, I applaud that already. But yeah,
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry, finish.
Uh, just to go back to your point, if you had access to anything, you would do everything and then get nothing done. And that kind of, it brings me to like addiction of like drug abuse. Like when someone's just on cocaine, it feels so good and that's all they'll do, right? And then you dry as an addict. But access to, let's say, activities out, travel, alcohol, parties, cars, whatever it is, you have access to this stuff, you start doing that stuff. Let's look at Jordan now, his life now, probably. Like he's freaking rich, he could do whatever he wants, he has access to everything. I guess he hasn't done much in terms of like, I don't know, his level of philanthropy any days, or like his like foundations or whatever like that. But he's an individual where I could say he has access to everything. He could do anything and everything he wants. He wants a yacht, one day he can get it. He wants like a Lamborghini, he can get it. He wants a new $20 million mansion, he can get it. Yet they still hold on to wealth. I get it. Yeah, maybe not the greatest example for Jordan. Let's go to Albert Einstein. I wish I would watch a documentary about Albert Einstein. I don't think he was particularly rich or super wealthy, but like from what we know about that guy, he was constantly for like seeking like the science, the knowledge. He was for the knowledge. And if he made the atom bomb and he was hired by like all these military powers to like develop all these technologies, he must have had wealth. But he was like of that different kind of breed of human, where he didn't get like lost in, I don't know how he died, if it was a drug abuse or addiction or whatever, like, or is it just natural causes? Did he have a heart attack? Did he like whatever? I don't know. I wish there was a documentary about him. But I just see that there's certain individuals out there. Yes, you're gonna give them access to anything, everything. Like, let's say I had the money where I could just travel the world whenever I wanted all the time, and that's what I would just do. And like Day said, he'd be bored out of his mind after a month. So then what would you do? After a month of being bored, like you yourself, you just wouldn't get nothing done. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I kind of know you to a certain degree, where it's like, I don't think you'd be happy with that. I feel like you'd be like, man, I want to do something with my life. Man, I want to better myself and like make an impact. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. That's me now, right? Like, cause like I've had the human experience of like having to work for stuff. But if I just came in out the gate, $2 billion in the bank, what?
Yeah,
but okay, I was gonna.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of like examples, but you're right. Like comfort is.
I'll put it to you.
Yeah.
I'll put it to you like this. So you're in a situation where you have like artistic passions, right? But you also have a 9-to-5. The entire time you're at the 9-to-5, you're like, yo, I can't wait to get the fuck out of here and go do the shit that I really want to do after this, right? If you wake up and you can just do your art shit all day, it's not out of the realm of possibility to think you wouldn't do anything that day.
I don't think
You know what I mean?
you're not gonna use your 8 hours. You're probably gonna use one if you really wanted to. You know, yeah, I can't say like, I'm a prime example of that too. Like when I'm not shooting, when I'm not, you know, photographing an event, and I've got like this week of like a bunch of editing or a lot of things that I could do. Sometimes I can't make, you know, efficient use of every minute of every hour of every day or anything like that. Like I just need some down relaxation time too. And yeah, if I had the luxury or the comfort where I could extend that like downtime for a couple months. Well, no, like I don't know, man. Like we're looking now
it's like
into
you
like
would
the innate
you
behavior of humanity. Like, are we workers or are we just like? I guess we're not really workers. We're
mm,
survivors. Are we survivors?
mm. So well, we're evolvers, we're adapters, right? So I
Yeah.
feel like you, oh man, how did you put it? You said, you know, you had a week off, and you're like, oh, you would feel, you probably wouldn't feel good like putting it off for too long, but if you could extend it, you probably like you would.
I would. Yeah,
But
I've done that all the time.
but imagine, but imagine now you had like, there was no consequence to you extending it, so you could just extend it indefinitely.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's no like, okay, I've extended it for like a month, I really should get on
Okay,
it
but
now.
what is this
Imagine
project?
that doesn't exist.
What is this project that I'm extending though?
uh
If
uh,
like, sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
Say it's your own personal project,
So
because it's
okay,
different if it has a deadline for someone else,
so
right?
like my YouTube content, right? Like I don't have to do anything on YouTube really, but if I don't do anything, then I won't make anything. It's like purely like input could produce some potential output, and more often than not, the input is more than the output. But I do
Mm.
it anyway. And I feel like there's this potential of like still reaching out to enough people where I can make a difference to certain people where I might not get some sort of monetary return for it, but I know I've made some influence that's benefited other people, right? And it's like now let's say I'm so comfortable where I don't need to make YouTube videos. Let's look at
Mm.
them. I don't know, like all the top YouTubers right now. Okay, they continue to make content. They're already making six figures. Some of them are already millionaires, but they continue to making content. I guess it's for maintenance. Is it just to maintain that standard of living that they've already been used to now, or is it always like
What,
seeking more?
what would happen if they stopped?
Well, they'd probably survive. They'd survive, but would they?
For how long?
Is it like? But that's the thing. You'd have to speak to them individually and be like, "Why are you doing this? Like, what is your goal? Is your goal for like the legacy impact that Tony was mentioning too, like how people will remember you, or is it money, or is it just straight up wealth, like to increase your wealth? Can your passion get stale? Like you said, is your passion for art more attractive when you are chasing it? Once you have the ability to spend all day doing it, you might be like, man, this kind of sucks, and
That's
usually it's a
real.
negative profit margin. And good point. No, for sure.
That's
Yeah,
real.
you're right. If it wasn't so much of a struggle, then that reward won't be so rewarding, right? It's just like, yeah, nice,
Yep.
great.
It's
So
like having, it's like when you used to have to like go to the gym, and now you just have like a gym in your basement. You're not gonna work out.
yeah. You're right. You're right. Some people do though.
I mean, some people
But
do.
some people do though,
It's
and
like,
that's what I'm talking about. Like you're right. That probably the general population who sign up for all these gym memberships and never go, then they decide to have a gym at their house. They're never gonna work out anyway. Those are probably the vast majority of the population. But you're gonna get these like anomalies, these one-offs, these brilliant genius types who are outside the norm, and they are the ones who make the difference. Like Albert Einstein is not a typical dude. Elon Musk is not a typical dude. Bill Gates is not a typical dude. Even MKBHD, Marquez Brownlee on YouTube is not a typical dude. Like
yeah, these guys are outliers, man.
which I think they have the pull power, where it's like if you give these like one-off anomalies the access, more of them, the potential for that access, they have they have the pull to like bring the whole of humanity with them, to carry them, to lift them up. I think, dude, that's me. My workout bench is collecting dust. Why are you choosing violence tonight? I feel personally attacked. That's what is it? That's performative acts of self-improvement. Okay, so okay, what I was gonna ask is, it's almost like it's coming down to what we think human nature is. Because there is this sense of like, we need the sense of survival in order for us to grind and push. If there's too much comfort, we won't do it. So it's like, is there a balance? So like, does that mean if everyone... But then you have this like, still the disparity of wealth, where there's super rich people who still push. Then you have these really super poor people who don't push. So like, what is it? Do you know what I mean? Like, you got lazy people down there who are still lazy.
Yep.
And you still got super rich people who are still pushing themselves. So what is it? What is the survival thing that... What is it? Is it nature versus nurture? Is it what we're being taught when we grow up?
I think it's that balance between oh man, you know what? Yo, I want to get to a level where I can just articulate my thoughts like as smoothly as Jordan Peterson does. I remember he just went on this one monologue about how like there's such a balance between like he paralleled it with being at the gym, where it's like, okay, you're at the gym, but if you're doing an exercise that's too light, you're not going to be like doing anything. But at the same time, if you do an exercise that's too heavy, you're going to injure yourself. So you have to find that like razor's edge balance where it's like you're pushing yourself just hard enough that it's not too far, and that's where we need to kind of live, you know? That's like that balance right there. But yeah, I'll find that clip one day and post it.
So you want to be able to articulate yourself so smoothly and comfortably, and you feel you can't?
Well, he does it at a level that is
his YouTube, he's another one. He's another outlier where he's not
that fucking guy,
a typical keynote speaker guy who's like making all these like books, writing these books and making these YouTube videos about like how you should live your life. He makes sense, you know, like and it's sensible too. And it's sensible too. It's not like controversial. Everything that he says is sensible. You know what I mean? Like, you got all these other people who like try to lead like the general public with controversial ideas.
Yeah.
But then you have these people who are just sensible.
You know what I love about it? It's tested. That's the other layer of it that's super impressive. Like, he'll go into these debates with intellectual people and body them.
Yeah.
So, it's like, hats off, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I was impressed with... I think he has a masterclass too, doesn't he? I think he has a masterclass on YouTube.
Oh yeah, he does. I was seeing like commercials.
Actually went from commie to far right. Man, Tony, I don't even know. I don't even know. Maybe I'm full spectrum. Who knows? I always forget what's right or left. I thought I was more left, pro-choice. I don't know. Anyway. What were we talking about? Back to woke. Let's wrap it up. I know, yeah.
We went all over the place.
I think when we're talking about these woke people that need to go to sleep, it's I was more so referencing those loud people who try to lead with controversial kind of ideas, like Sneeko, you know, like where they're so kind of like tunnel vision. They also lack of experience. Like, the guy's young. He doesn't actually know. Man, when I was 23, well, compared to what I knew at 31, and still compared to what I know now, I'm turning 40, y'all. Like in a few weeks. Well, go ahead,
I would just ask him. Okay, all right. As a 23-year-old, imagine a 15-year-old were giving you this advice. Would you not think they were a fucking idiot?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
And he spoke with such conviction, man. It was so irritating. And I get it. Like, this is the kind... And, like, his chat's going off. I think more people were probably resonating with Abba because he spoke from, like, more of a wisdom stance, whereas Sneeko was more like ambition. It was like wisdom versus ambition. I'm politically fluid. Politically neutral, yeah. When confronted by a mob of bare-chested feminists, he's an ally. Who's turning 40 soon? Oh, Abba and Preach.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm talking about Abba and Preach. Anyway, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I'm so excited for this weekend. Deji, do you want to say anything else? Do you know any woke people that should go back to sleep?
Hey man.
Hit the snooze button.
So I would be way more impressed if someone said sincerely, like they felt like they really didn't know anything. Because that to me is an indication of intelligence. It's like, yo, you're aware you live in a society where truth is often like manipulated and stuff, so you really don't know. Like, and I was having a conversation with someone about this like yesterday. So people that come off as like know-it-alls and like, yo, this is what it is, and yo, I read this on this and I done my research. It's like, okay, I mean, there might be some validity to what you're saying, but I might kind of look at you sideways if you leave no room for an alternative opinion, you know? Like, you can't be so set in this is what I believe, this is the truth, and if you don't know this, then you're ignorant. You know, it's like there's room for nuance in like a lot of situations. So never be too confident in, you know, like what you know, right? And always, you know, be open to like alternative opinions and like different perspectives and shit, man.
Open to listen. Not to say that you have to be like easily swayed in any direction.
Exactly.
I'm pretty like, I know I'm super judgy, and I've it's hard to change my mind about things, but it doesn't mean that I won't give someone the opportunity to share, and I'd like to listen in terms of like even just gaining knowledge too. I think if there's anything coming out of like this discussion today, ended up being an hour, which is nice. I didn't think it was gonna go this long, but like for one, I will say, Deji, you got me using the word nuance a lot more. But like the whole sensibility thing, I think, is the one thing that I wish everyone could just adopt. It's just like when you're speaking with others, when you are portraying yourself in public, or like through communication with anybody directly or anything like that, it's not even so much of like you know, being kind or being considerate or whatever like that. I just being like, I guess sensibility takes it into like you evaluate yourself when you're measuring something, if it's sensible or not. There's a sort of self-evaluation, which always brings it to the golden rule of like, do unto others what you have them do unto you, because that's what makes it sensible. So that's what I like about, I'm not saying sensitive, I'm saying sensible, where it's like you can evaluate your behavior and see like, am I willing to give this out, because would I be one to want to receive it this way too? It's almost like empathy. And a lot of social media, or at least these influencers out there, don't operate this way because they know it's more profitable to not operate that way. So there are some that operate completely sensibly, like Jordan Peterson. I would say Abba and Preach are pretty good about it too. I wouldn't put them up on some crazy pedestal. Like they, you know, I do think that there's things that they could possibly improve on as well. But like, you know, they come at it with more of like a mature approach, where it's not just like, it's all about me. I just want to get what I want, and I'll get it any way that I get it so I can win. You know, it's like
these bitches.
Yeah. New pussy. I don't know. Like it's I'm not for that lifestyle. I mean, at the same time too, I haven't lived that lifestyle, so is it fair for me to even evaluate like that? Oh, maybe I would have loved it. Maybe I would be trapped in that, but I don't know. I look at like Dan Bilzerian. People used to idolize that guy, the way he lived his life, and it's like, or the Hugh Hefners, where he's still older and he still has like, I don't even know if Hugh Hefner is just an old version of Dan Bilzerian. I don't think. I don't know. Let's Google it right now.
Look that up.
Hugh Hefner. Anyone know? Hugh Hefner.
He is still alive. Second name to pop up on Google.
Buried. He's buried. So he died 2017. Not that.
Hugh Hefner was.
Dan
Damn.
was a scammer. Some people get it, some people don't. And a fraud. Well, here's look at okay, you were talking about Kanye, how he was gonna be, you know, he's gonna just lose all his money. He's gonna be a fail. Like I don't know. But look at Trump. Wasn't that Trump? I don't know how driven or like ambitious he was and his rise. I feel like he was born into like wealth, so I don't know if he had that same kind of hustle. We all love like a Cinderella story kind of a thing, like right, the come up from the lows and achieving the highs, but like he was legit legend, really. All right, maybe there should be a documentary about him too. Anyway,
Yeah, this Wikipedia is so interesting.
dude, remember when
He was the founder.
Yeah, go ahead.
He was the founder and editor of Playboy magazine, a publication with revealing photographs and articles which provoked charges of obscenity. Crazy. He was a visionary, man. Look at the face he's got on Wikipedia. Look at this motherfucker. It's like, I gotcha.
It's like Gilligan when he's like 90. Anyway.
Oh, man.
Good talk, guys. Thank you for a very active chat too. Fizzle, thanks for coming by. And Tony too, and rest of Brack coming today. Have a great weekend. We're gonna go off to the beach in Kincardine, so we'll see you next. So actually, I think I can have one next Thursday. I should be able to get my work done by next Thursday. But yeah, take care, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next podcast. Be kind. Be sensible. Thanks for watching.